It's just that's fine.
All right, I'm about to play it.
So you're good?
Yeah.
What is that in your hand?
Oh, it's a grape stem. I was eating some grapes earlier. It was pretty
What
sour.
is that in your hand?
It's a switchblade. I got a little chocolate on it.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure you were good.
What's up?
I got what I came for, so I'll see you later. Or not.
You texted me and said it was important, though. You could have just told me while we was texting.
I know what I said. Sometimes texting isn't enough. Is that okay with you?
Something happened?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. So,
I just wanted to know if you were okay.
and what?
If you die, who's gonna tell me?
What?
We don't talk anymore. I know it's for the best, but like if you die,
Yeah, I'm not gonna die.
maybe not now.
Right.
Maybe not now,
Not today.
but eventually.
But not today.
Okay. So if it happened, how would I find out?
I don't know. You probably found out online like everybody else. I mean, that's how.
Like everybody else?
Yeah.
I've literally had you. What are you talking about?
Talking about you.
Inside of me, we've had sex. Don't.
Okay. Chill. Can we just sit down and talk?
That's fine. Let's go.
Chill.
I just want to make sure that if something happens to you, that I know. Like, that's what's important to me. How would I find out?
I'm gonna add you to the list.
What list?
My death list. The list that my people that reach out to. If anything.
Who else is on the list?
Nobody.
I forgot I brought in the music. I didn't hear this last. I don't know why I didn't hear it last time.
Thanks.
Type it, I miss you. Erasing it in the same breath.
But you should be so fucking good. I be forgetting.
You said what?
You should be so good. I be forgetting. When it started
Nah,
playing,
that was
oh
good.
shit.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That was good. I just watched it, but I don't know. I guess it's because it was already in my head. I was able to just like enjoy it a little bit more. But no, that was nice. That was dope.
I didn't even remember the music cue. To add the music cue was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kierstyn, why'd you do that at that part? If you go back to like right around
At that part?
No, she made a face at like around. It was about a quarter in or so.
Okay, so
Maybe not now. Maybe not now, but eventually.
Not today.
It was a little bit back than that, but go ahead.
and I said this in real time, Christian, in a good way, is acting like such a fucking asshole.
Yeah, he was good in this.
I remember the note, like in real time, I was like, Christian, keep acting like an asshole. Like you're doing perfectly. You just make me want to punch you in the fucking face, which like, because he just acting like he don't give a fuck, which is exactly what he needs to be doing. But like, even just experiencing it again, I'm just like, he is being such a fucking asshole. So, but that's good though. He did this thing.
Yeah, I think they both had a great performance for real.
They did, and like even the nuances of her like taking time to like ask the question or like getting frustrated with him, like I would talk about like so the intention was to have both of them in the shot for the most part, like in the camera, because I wanted her to walk into the frame, like walk into them being together, and her to walk out. That was like in my mind, that's the one thing that I knew that I wanted. And so when we were talking about doing like OTS and stuff, like I didn't really want to do it because I I didn't want it to be like individual. It was basically them breaking up. So like coming together and then coming apart. But those little nuances that I saw with Chantel, like her, like really getting frustrated, like really kind of in it and like pissed off and like what are you talking about? Like having a closer look at that, I think would have been really beautiful.
Yeah.
I think a dynamic over the shoulder would have worked.
Yeah. But that's the one thing, because like I see it from far behind, and I think you can see it when you watch it. But I'm like, to see it like up close and like how pissed she was getting and how like irritated she looked, like because like I don't think the words are very like the dialogue is very basic to me in a genuine way, but the facial expressions, like her getting so irritated, I think really adds to the scene. But we're so far away that I think maybe people may miss it. I don't know.
Yeah. This shot I actually like a little bit more now too. I was looking at the shot. I know I was kind of talking a little bit mess. Like I still feel like a closer in shot would have been nice, but I think this is cool for like what it was. I just was thinking about like some different ways I would have executed it, because I'm like either like a nice pan in from here and it lands where it's like both of them filling up the box, or just like that's the shot. Like they sit down and instead of it being this shot, it's just closer to where like you can really just be in on that conversation. But no, I think this was still a good shot though. You still get a gist of it.
I love the shade. Like the location is just great. One, just where at Ladera, but like it was so shaded and that. So I think it just like helped us with like the production wise of it. But I think it just looks so beautiful because like, especially because it's such a simple scene. Like there's so much to look at just with like the trees and even like the shot on the other side, because we see like a woman walking in the background and then like the different angle of the tree. So like it gives kind of fullness in the shot, even though it feels very simple.
I was gonna give you a compliment too. I think for both of y'all, I think y'all used the widescreen very well in this. Like obviously everything's not like perfect composition, this and that, but like I think the use of like widescreen and like shooting away and everything, it makes it adds to the fact that y'all are in a real environment.
And I think like in real time, like you had given notes about like doing more shots, and I was just so focused on. Because I think if we reshot it, like I would be more intentional about having more shots. But I was so focused on just like working with the actors, because that was my intention. Like I was just like, I want to know what it feels like to work with actors and like try to generate, evoke more so emotion, and what that feels like as somebody who has experienced it on the acting end but didn't know how to do it as a director. And so that was really the thing. And so like when it came to shots, I was like, I don't care. Like I want it to feel right, and I think it feels right. So now to add dynamic shots to that would do the scene justice.
How many shots did you do with this one?
Two, I think. Just two.
Basically,
was it only these two setups? I should have said setups. How many setups did you do? Was it only these two setups?
I feel like we did more than two setups. Did we? I don't remember.
No, I think this is it, because I would have used some other ones, but we did different takes of like the same shots.
Yeah.
And I might have moved the camera around, but these are the two that I land on. Yeah. But nah, I definitely like the location. Me as just a more experienced DP now though.
Yeah.
I should have exposed for the background. Okay. Just to bring the brightness down. And then we probably, I don't know if we even had light or anything. They probably did. It was just like a real quick shoot. But so I guess that's why I had to do it like this too. But and then you bring in some light or a bounce or something just to bring in some light for them. Yeah. But well, I think that would be the right way. Honestly, I don't know, because I haven't shot anything kind of in this element since. But that's just kind of how I would tackle that shit now. But
you don't think even still like in the background, just like in editing, like I know we shot it pretty raw, but like in the background and editing, it could like
I definitely could have brought the background down a little bit more. But yeah, at this point, looking at it now, but at this point, with editing, I wasn't too experienced with like completely just dropping a background or something like that. But um, no, but for what this is, I really like it though. Like, it's and like I said, the music cue. I swear I just watched this and I don't even remember any music. I don't know where
I just
at.
see the list.
What list?
Definitely. The list that my people that reach out to.
Oh, and put the oven on.
If anything.
Who else is on the list?
You
That music cue is black as hell.
it is black. We black.
No. The time that he puts it in, like it was very like, you know, like
Well,
he was
okay,
watching
so,
some black
Kevin,
shit
do you
for real.
Say, Khalil, I'm
What you
sorry.
say?
No, go ahead.
Kevin, do you remember you asked if she had the instrumental so you could do just the instrumental first, but she didn't?
Yeah.
The artist that
I
got
do remember that. I do
Kevin
remember
wanted
that.
to
Yeah.
go more into like wanted to slowly like build in, but the girl that I got the song from, she didn't have just the instrumental, and so we just had to stick with what we had. But call
Nah,
it back.
so
You
even
always
where
get it.
I,
Go ahead.
so even where I put it in at the hold on. I think that was a nice place. So I'm assuming my thinking was like that's where he kind of shift, where you know that he messed with her, because at first like he is an ass. Like, this nigga even like her, but that's the first kind of real signal outside of him stopping her from leaving. And like that's when he really about to break it down to her. So I think that's where I was like, oh, this would be a nice time to kind of bring the song in too. Also, I think what also played into it was since we didn't have the instrumental, I had to time it because I wanted the lyrics to probably start as soon as the scene cut. So I think that man had something to do with it too. Should have dragged it out a little bit longer though.
Thanks.
And this part too. Watch Christian's eyes. Oh! Every time I'm like, I'm freaking.
So it was. I was trying to hit the beat of the artist starting to sing because it happened right as she was walking off.
Thanks.
Every time. Okay, and when I laugh because, and you said this in real time. I don't know if you still think about it when you hear it, but like when he brings up the list and he was like, "Who else is on it?" and he was like, "Just you." He was like, "That nigga lying." Like in real time. And so when every time you laugh at it, I'm like, I don't know if you still think. I mean, is that weird?
Nah, I honestly forgot about it, but I do remember saying that.
He was like, "That nigga's lying." Yeah, he probably is, but it don't matter.
Right. He ain't got no damn list.
What'd you say?
He ain't got no list 1 and 2. She ain't on that damn list. She ain't the only one on that damn list.
Yeah, not even mine.
The note that I have for Christian, or just for like that part, when he's like thinking about the solution, I will. Now, if we did it, I would want him to sit in it a little longer before he like comes up with the solution, because.
Yeah.
And I think that's just like a writer note, because I know that I wrote it. I'm like, it feels just like not like feel like you're saying the line, but like I think if you sit in it for a little bit longer, it's like, oh, he came up with it and said it. You know what I mean?
Right. Versus you wrote it in for him.
Right. And so that's when I get like eerie about stuff, because it feels like I wrote it because I did write it, but I don't know if it feels like that's other people. So that's something I get like really like about when I'm watching it.
Do you think that's just more like? Do you think that's more timing?
I think it is timing, but I think I try to be super cognizant of like writing stuff that feels like dialogue rather than somebody wrote it. And so I think it's a little bit of like writing insecurity, but then also timing. And that's why I would want him to sit in it a little bit longer. And I don't even know if y'all remember when we shot when Chantel, she was like coming in and like before she would say like if you die, and I was telling him like if you need a second to say it, take the time because like it's not an easy conversation to have. Like she was getting really nervous and like breaking, and I'm like just sit in that nervousness because like this is not easy to say. So and then I think when she did that, because she took a pause and then like they had their little like improv banter, and I'm like that helps her kind of like feel like sit in it. So
right, I think so. I remember you doing that.
Yeah, that felt natural.
That was good directing tip right there.
And so I think if we did it again, I would want Christian to sit in that line a little longer. But I think the original thing was like I wrote like my family or my mom and dad will reach out, and I'm like, you got to change that. It sounds very much happy family. Like you got to say something. So either like people or my folks or something like that. But yeah. So y'all want to shoot it again, or I'm just kidding. Maybe one day.
Shoot the list again? No, that'd be dope to shoot it again.